Hey friends, hello and welcome back. In this video, we'll discuss adjective clauses. Let us try to understand the definition of the adjective clauses. A subordinate clause that functions like an adjective in the sentence is called an adjective clause. We know that. But we also have to know what is an adjective when we try to understand an adjective clause. So, an adjective is the word that either qualifies or modifies a noun. That means it gives additional information about a noun. And any group of words that function as an adjective functions is named after adjective. For example, if that group of words is a phrase, then it will be called an adjective phrase, and if it is a clause, it will be called an adjective clause. Adjective clauses are also known as relative clauses. Relative clauses are in fact adjective clauses only. However, there is a little bit of confusion amongst the grammarians about this, and this is a little complicated issue, so we'll not talk about that right now. I'll explain this point in some other video. However, you don't need to be confused about that. Consider relative clause as an adjective clause, because relative clauses are also adjectivals and adjective clauses are also adjectivals. So we'll talk about adjective clause as the relative clause in this video. I hope you have understood. Most of the adjective clauses function as post modifiers in the noun phrase. As they function as the post modifiers in the noun phrase, they are related to the noun. They are called relative clauses also. Have a look at a few of these examples in order to understand what is a relative clause or what is an adjective clause. Let's call them relative clauses now. Please try to concentrate on the underlined parts in these sentences, because these are the relative clauses. Look at the first sentence. The boy who caught the thief is my cousin. Second is, Anil is the man who taught me English. Third is, the woman loved by all is Anita. Fourth is, Reshma is the girl living in my society. Fifth is, the man driving the car is Tushar's father. Sixth is, I saw them dressed like heroes. And seventh is, they found him caught in a trap. All these examples are the examples with relative clauses in it. All the underlined parts in these sentences are relative clauses. If you carefully look at these sentences, you will find that there are finite verbs as well as non-finite verbs used in these sentences. Depending on this, whether a finite verb used in the sentence or whether a non-finite verb is used in the sentence, we can classify adjective clauses also into two categories, namely finite clauses and non-finite clauses. Let's first of all talk about finite relative clauses or finite adjective clauses. Adjective clauses with finite verbs are called finite adjective clauses. They generally modify the nouns in the noun phrase. Therefore, they are also called relative clauses, or they are related to the nouns in the sentences. Have a look at these sentences. The first is, the man who told me the truth is your father. The second is, I saw the car that was broken in the accident. The third is, the car that was broken yesterday belongs to my friend. And the last is, she is the girl who gave me the chocolate last night. Underlined parts in these sentences are the relative clauses, and as they have finite verbs in them, they are called finite relative clauses. In the sentence, the man who told me the truth is your father, the man who told me the truth is the subject. It is a noun phrase functioning as the subject in this sentence. Is the verb, and your father is the complement. It is also a noun phrase functioning as the complement in this sentence. In the phrase, the man who told me the truth, who told me the truth is actually a relative clause. It modifies the noun man. As it modifies the noun man, it is called a relative clause because it is related to the noun man. Now look at this sentence. Your father is the man who told me the truth. In the sentence, your father is the man who told me the truth. Your father is the noun phrase functioning as the subject of this sentence. Is the verb, and the man who told me the truth is the complement of this sentence. The man who told me the truth is actually a noun phrase, and this noun phrase, who told me the truth, is a relative clause as it is related to the noun man. Let's have a look at these 10 sentences and try to understand relative clauses in them. The first is, Taj is the monument that Shah Jahan built. The second is, the tree which Deepa had planted gives fruits now. Third is, she is the girl who loves me. Fourth is, she is the girl whom I love. Fifth is, the man whose house was sold died yesterday. Seventh is, this is the reason why she hates him. Eighth is, the time when they told me the story was night. Ninth is, he ate all the fruits which I brought. And the last one is, Dharwad is the place where Girish Karnad lived. Look at these sentences carefully. All the underlined parts in these sentences are the relative clauses, and all the bold words are the nouns to which they are related. The nouns to which a relative clause is related in the noun phrase is called antecedent in the language of grammar. The antecedents are the bold words in all these sentences. I'm telling it to you just for the information. The phrase, the man who told me the truth. In the noun phrase, the man who told me the truth, the is the pre-modification and it is the determiner. Man is the head of this noun phrase and it is a noun. And who told me the truth is the post-modifying part and it is a relative clause, relative finite clause in fact. Let's try to talk about non-finite adjective clauses now. Adjective clauses with non-finite verbs are called non-finite adjective clauses. They are very much similar to the finite adjective clauses in relation to their function because they also take an antecedent noun before them. Look at these examples. Kapali is the name given to Lord Shiva. Second is, another name given to Shiva is Shambhu. Third is, the girls playing there are my classmates. Fourth is, my classmates are the girls playing there. Fifth is, she is the girl to be married to him. Sixth is, the person to come now is Samir. Seventh is, I saw her playing in the park. Eighth is, we preferred sitting there. Ninth is, she found the statue broken into pieces. And 10th is, they saw him dressed like a girl. Now, let's look at sentence number 7, sentence number 8 and sentence number 10. The 7th sentence is, I saw her playing in the park. 8th is, we preferred sitting there. And 10th is, they saw him dressed like a girl. In all these sentences, you can see that underlined parts, that is non-finite adjective clauses, are not the parts of the noun phrase. In fact, they are forming a separate clause element. That is, they are the complements in those sentences. We know that adjectives can function as the complement in the sentence. At the same time, it can modify a noun in a noun phrase. In all other sentences except 7, 8 and 10, the adjective clauses are relative clauses because they are the part of a noun phrase. But in these sentences 7, 8 and 10, they are not the part of the noun phrase. As they are not the part of the noun phrase, there is no antecedent and it becomes difficult for us to call them the relative clauses. So let us not call them the relative clauses. They are only adjective clauses. Have a look at these two sentences analyzed here. The first is, we saw him eating chocolates. In the sentence, we saw him eating chocolates, we is the subject and NP, saw is the verb, him is the object and it is a noun phrase, and eating chocolates is an adjective clause, but it is functioning as the complement here, object complement in fact, because it is complementing him. Of course, it is also complementing subject, but that is a different point because that sentence itself is ambiguous. We'll not talk about that right now. See the second sentence, Ganesh found her frustrated. In the sentence, Ganesh found her frustrated. Ganesh is the subject, found is the verb, her is the object, and frustrated is the object complement, and it is an adjective clause. This is not a relative clause. This is precisely an adjective clause. You cannot call it a relative clause. I hope the confusion is clear now. Let's understand present participle adjective clauses. Present participle adjective clauses are introduced with the help of a participle. As they function as the adjectives, they are called adjective clauses. Have a look at these examples analyzed here so that you can understand what are the present participle clauses. My son has seen the bus going to cage. Going to cage is a relative clause. This boy caught the bird flying in the sky. Flying in the sky is a relative clause. The man working in the field is Sonu's father. Working in the field is the relative clause. And look at this sentence, those girls stand in the park are Jiza's friends. Standing in the park is again a relative clause. In all these sentences, the relative clauses are there because they have antecedent nouns. Like in the first sentence, there is son, in the second boy, in the third man, and in the fourth girls. Now let's talk about past participle adjective clauses. Generally, past participle adjective clauses are introduced with the help of a past participle. Have a look at these examples. George's baby has eaten the cake kept in the fridge. Kept in the fridge is a relative clause because it is qualifying the noun cake, or it is giving additional information about the noun cake. Therefore, it is also called an adjective clause, but as it is related to cake, it is also called the relative clause. See the second example. Some people like the rice cooked with meat. Some people like the rice cooked with meat. Rice cooked with meat is a noun phrase, and cooked with meat is a relative clause because it is talking about the rice. Look at the next sentence. A few cups broken yesterday were my favorite. Now, cups broken yesterday is a noun phrase. Broken yesterday is a clause, and it is a past participle clause, and it is speaking about the noun cups. Therefore, it is called a relative clause. Now, let's have a few examples of infinitive adjective clauses or infinitive relative clauses. These are normally introduced with to plus infinitive. Have a look at the first example. Jim's son has the cake to eat. Cake to eat is a noun phrase. To eat is an infinitive clause. Look at the second example. Some people found the cake to be eaten. Cake to be eaten is again a noun phrase. To be eaten is an infinitive clause, and it is a relative clause. The man to lead us is Sonu's father. To lead us, look at this. To lead us is a relative clause because it is related to the noun man. The phrase is noun phrase, the man to lead us. In the next sentence, the man to be the president is my son. In the sentence, the man to be the president is my son. To be the president is a relative clause. It is related to the noun man, and the phrase is noun phrase, the man to be the president. Most of the examples of adjective clauses in English are the examples of relative clauses. Only at a very few instances you can find adjective clause functioning as the complement in the sentences. Alright, I think the point is clear. You have understood finite and non-finite adjective clauses and the relative clauses as adjective clauses. Hope you have liked this video. If you liked it, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe for the channel if you are new to it. Thank you very much for watching.